Okay, y'all, let's get into this story because it is heartbreaking and shocking at the same time. Trey Reed was just 21 years old, a student at Delta State University in Mississippi. Early on the morning of September 15th, 2025, his body was found hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts on campus. Yes, you heard that right. A young black student hanging from a tree in the year 2025. The news spread fast across the university, leaving students, staff, and even people online in shock. The school was so shaken that they cancelled big centennial events that were supposed to celebrate 100 years of the university. Now here's where things get even more confusing. Just hours later, the Delta State University police held a press conference. And what did they say? They announced there was no foul play suspected in Trey's death and that the campus was safe. They even released an official statement saying they were sad and heartbroken, but they insisted there was no evidence of foul play. The university president himself spoke out, offering words of comfort, and counseling services were made available for students and staff. But still, that phrase, "no foul play," kept being repeated, and that's the part that has people heated. Because here's the thing, Trey's family and members of the community don't buy that explanation. They have been speaking out and saying that reports claim Trey had multiple injuries, including broken arms and a broken leg. Now, I don't know about you, but if someone has both arms broken and a broken leg, how are they supposed to hang themselves? That's what his family is saying too. They feel something about this situation doesn't add up at all, and people online are demanding answers. And if that wasn't enough, there's also a bigger history here. Delta State University has been called out before for being racially hostile. There have been stories of black students feeling unsafe, targeted, or singled out on campus. Some even described it as an environment where racism has been allowed to continue for years. So when news broke about Trey's death, and then the school immediately said no foul play, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. For many, it didn't feel like just a tragic, isolated incident. Instead, it felt like part of a much bigger, uglier story that has been going on for a long time. Now, let's keep going because the more we dig into this story, the more layers it seems to have. Not long after Trey's death was announced, parents of former students started coming forward with their own experiences at Delta State University. One parent shared a chilling story about their son, who attended the school 2 years ago. According to them, their son was constantly harassed on campus. They said white students would ride around in cars, throw trash at him and his friends, and yell slurs at them. When the young man tried to report the harassment and even gave police a license plate number, the officers on campus did nothing. Instead of helping, it seemed like the campus police actually turned against him. It got so bad that one night, the student said he literally had to run for his life from campus police. Witnesses later told his parents that he had been arrested. But when the family called the county and the city to find out where their son was being held, they were given the runaround. Officials kept saying he wasn't in custody, even though people had seen him get arrested. The parents stayed at the station for hours, refusing to leave, until finally, after about 5 or 6 hours, they were told the truth. Yes, their son was in the back. And even though the whole thing had been caught on video, no one was ever held accountable. The white men who had been harassing him weren't punished, and the police officers faced no consequences. In the end, that student withdrew from Delta State because he said he feared for his life. Now, fast forward to Trey Reed's case, and people are looking at these past stories and saying, "See, this is why we don't trust the university's explanation." For many, Trey's death doesn't feel like an accident, and it definitely doesn't feel like something that can be brushed off. And here's another part that has people talking. While social media rumors claimed Trey had broken arms and legs, the Bolivar County Deputy Coroner came forward and said that wasn't true. He claimed he saw no broken bones and that, in his opinion, Trey's death was self-done. He even said he didn't want to discuss it any further. But if you think the family just accepted that answer, think again. Trey's family decided to bring in Ben Crump, the nationally known civil rights attorney. If you don't recognize the name, Ben Crump has been involved in some of the biggest cases in America, including George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And when Ben Crump steps into a case, you know things are serious. He made it clear that the family is not going to accept vague explanations or rushed conclusions. He promised to lead a full, independent investigation into Trey's death, pushing for transparency every step of the way. He called Trey a young man full of promise and warmth, and said both his family and the community deserve real answers about what happened. So now the official story from campus police says one thing, social media rumors say another. And Trey's family, backed by Ben Crump, is demanding the truth. As this case picks up steam, the support for Trey Reed's family has only grown stronger. All over social media, people are uniting and saying the same thing. This feels way too familiar. They're pointing to other cases in America where young black men died under suspicious circumstances and officials brushed it off. For many, Trey's death isn't just about one person, it's about history repeating itself. Some are pointing straight to Mississippi's past, a place where lynchings were once used to terrorize black communities. Others are looking at Delta State University's reputation and saying the school itself can't be trusted. And then there are people who are flat out declaring black people don't lynch themselves. The anger is mixed with frustration because in 2025, there should be no excuses when it comes to finding the truth. People are asking hard questions. Where are the cameras? A campus like Delta State has surveillance all over, so why don't we know what happened the night Trey died? Students and families believe there should be clear footage showing where he went, who he was with, and what happened before his body was found. And many are saying those cameras need to be reviewed by independent investigators, not just by the university police. At the same time, another conversation is happening. Some are pointing out that college life itself can be overwhelming. Students carry heavy burdens, family pressure, financial stress, relationships, and figuring out their future. There's a possibility that Trey was dealing with struggles no one else knew about. Maybe his death wasn't connected to Delta State directly, but to private battles he was fighting on his own. But here's the big question everyone is stuck on. Even if Trey did take his own life, what pushed him there? Was it the environment at Delta State? Was it the profiling and harassment other black students have spoken about? Or was it something even darker that's being covered up right now? The truth is, we still don't know. And with Ben Crump now digging in, with the family demanding real answers, and with the public refusing to let this go, The next step in this story could change everything. Because sooner or later, the evidence, those cameras, the reports, the testimonies, has to come out. But when it does, will it reveal a tragic personal struggle, or will it expose something far more sinister? Stay glued, like, share, and subscribe for more juicy celebrity news.